Hriam Shri Krishna, Namaskar-acharya. Hriam Shri Krishna.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturdhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopachantaye Sarva Vighnapashamanam Sarva Siddhikaram Padam Sarva Jeeva Pranetanam Vande Vijayadam Harim. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Buddhirabalam Vishodhairyam Nirbhajatvam Alogata Ajadyam Vakpadutvam Jahummasmaranad Bhavet Mukopi Yatpathadena Mukunda Chayanajate Radharadhajate Rito Raghavendram Tamashraji. Welcome to everyone. Today's session of Jeevana Dharma. Let us start with the learning of some important shloka of this session. First of all, I request our dedicated volunteers to help all the participants to learn the shloka, followed by meaning explanation and some more talk about the same.
Hariom Shri Krishna Namaha. We'll go through the shloka once, then we'll see the pronunciation of each and every pada. Yeah. Here, this is kind of new for me as well. Yeah. Vastoshpate namastestu. Yeah, actually here like a first pada in a line we are making as a two halves. Till here the first half. Vastoshpate. This is the sa is having alpa pranata. Then next it is O related letter. We need to say long. Vastoshpate. This is the second sha, not the first sha or the sa. Second sha, shatkona sha. For the second sha, we have to roll our tongue towards back and try to touch the tip of the tongue to the palate. Vastoshpate. Again, te is a related letter. We need to say long. Namastestu. Namaste. Sa is having, this is the first ta, that means alpa prana. We no need to stress on it. And again, it is a related letter followed by avagraha symbol. This symbol is called avagraha symbol. We need to drag it more longer than the usual. Vastoshpate namastestu. Next half. Bhushayya nirata prabho. Bhu. Bha is mahaprana. Yeah, please keep the palm for your reference and try to just a bit tighten your lips and blow the air out and feel the air blow wherever the mahapranas comes clearly, especially for the mahaprana pha and bha. You have to be tighten your lips and blow the air out, feel the air blow through your palm. Bhu sha, this is the first sha. Don't bring the sa sound or bhu sa like bhu sha. Shankara sha, first sha. Tip of the tongue should be straight. Ya is having another ya. Here we need to stress like a double letter. Dvitvakshara sound has to come. Bhushayya nirata prabho. Prabho place pa is having, this is the ra sanyuktakshara. Yeah, we need to stress bit, otherwise the ra stress won't come clear. Again, the last letter of this pada quarter. This is the mahaprana bha. Again, feel the air blow while pronouncing the mahaprana bha. All the a and o related letters we need to say long. Prabho. Next line, next pankti. Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Till here the another quarter is over, third quarter. Sthale, sa is having mahaprana tha. please underline. So just cross check by keeping the palm closer to your mouth and feel the air blow for the Mahapranatha. Again, the La is a related letter followed by Avagraha symbol. We need to drag bit more longer than the usual. Thalesmin Kuru Sanidhyam. Na is having another na. We need to stress on it like a double letter sound has to come clearly. Sanidhyam. Dha is Mahaprana. Here also we have to keep the palm to cross check the air blow. Where the Mahapranas are there, we have to clearly feel the air blow through our palm. So the Mahaprana sound, that means we are pronouncing clearly. Sanidhyam. By the end of the letter, this quarter end of the letter is Halantam. Yeah, where the half letters will be there. If we don't pronounce properly, that sound won't even heard clearly. Sanidhyam clearly. Last quarter, last pada. Swasti nostu sthiro bhava. Swasti nostu. Again, the na is O related letter followed by Avagraha Chihna. We need to drag bit more longer than the usual. Swasti nostu sthiro. Sa is having, this is the Mahapranatha. Here we need to stress bit more long, like feel the air blow. Sthiro bhava. Again, the Mahaprana letter. Please keeping the palm and in front of your mouth and cross check. Where the short letters are there, we have to make it as a short. Where the long letters are there, don't make it as a cut short. We have to say long. Yeah, we'll go through the full shloka, then do quarter by quarter, half of the pankti by pankti and the full shloka. Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho sthalesmin kurusan nidhyam swastinostu sthiro bhava. First quarter by quarter, pada by pada. First time just listen and look at the script, then we'll do. Please follow along with the kid volunteers. Hari Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Vastoshpate namaste stu.
Vastoshpate namaste stu. Vastoshpate namaste stu.
Bhushayya nirata prabho.
Bhushayya nirata prabho. Bhushayya nirata prabho.
Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam.
Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam.
Swastinostu sthiro bhava.
Swastinostu sthiro bhava. Swastinostu sthiro bhava.
Now we'll do pankti by pankti, that is line by line. Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho.
Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho. Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho.
Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Swastinostu sthiro bhava.
Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Swastinostu sthiro bhava. Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Swastinostu sthiro bhava.
Now we'll do the complete shloka. Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho. Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Swastinostu sthiro bhava.
Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho. Sthalesmin kuru sannidhyam. Swastinostu sthiro bhava. Vastoshpate namaste stu bhushayya nirata prabho. स्थलेऽस्मिन् कुरु सान्निध्यं स्वस्ति नोऽस्तु स्थिरो भव। हरिः ओम् श्रीकृष्णाय नमः।
Thank you. Now, let us go through the meaning of this sloka and some more talk about the same subject, and which will be continued to next session as well. This is regarding Vastu. Nowadays, so many people are scared about building a house and what going to happen. Is there any possibility to enjoy some things in our as per our plan? Because we know all things are uncertain. Everything is connected, linked. If job is there, then no problem of household responsibilities, finance, and finance is stable, peace of mind, no anger at home, and understanding, pleasant mind always, and everything goes well. Good health will be there, mind is stable, we are able to concentrate in puja or meditation, reading, learning, and charity works. Where is the beginning? Where we have to start from? Everything is connected to the house. Now the concept is, and the plan or the dream of everyone, I want to have my own house, how it has to be. People are scared about the negative, some effect, and it should not bother, and we have to have the fortune continuously to live happily in the house. What are the things we have to plan about and we have to worry about? Unfortunately, the main source for the Vastu information, also the Google. 99.9%, I surely say that you are getting wrong information. You are looking at some explanation, there are no connectivity towards our scriptures or the real shlokas or such guidelines at all. Now, what we have to think about and what we have to really worry about and what we don't have to worry about, and how to make some things at our home peaceful. Yes, our tradition, religion, our belief is like that. We are not only looking at the things, not only if you buy a car, build a house, you can buy a car, you can build a house, you cannot bring the divinity into that, right? It has to work, and it has to be helpful or peaceful for you. You have to enjoy it. Where you get it from? That is the reason we connect everything to God. People are laughing at us for we are doing such things they don't understand. The reason is, for example, we buy a car, we do the car puja. What is that? Why we had to do the car puja? We are not worshipping the car. We are offering our thanks to God. And not only that, we are praying for the good luck. When you come to the road, even though you are following all the rules and regulations, there is no limit. Anybody can come and hit, or anybody get anything, or anywhere it can be all material things. We don't know what is the thing going to come along with us. No control at all, right? We have to surrender somewhere. That is the reason we are offering. That is not our own wish. It is tradition. Not only the tradition, it is the Shastra, the guideline or order of the scriptures. Dharan, Sutan, Priyan, Pranan, yes, Parasmi, Nivedagit, we find the statement in Sadachara Smriti. All things offer to him and feel relaxed. Psychologically also it will give you confidence, faith, peace of mind. When you are holding all the things in your hand, the stress, tension, worry is there a lot on your hand. When you give up or you ask someone you trust to take care of some responsibilities, you are stressless. You feel free about it. The person is there to take care of my own things, my house. When you are away from your house, some person is there to take care of this. I don't have to worry, right? You enjoy wherever you are and whatever you are doing. For that purpose, you have to hand over that worry or tension or responsibility to someone's hand. Importantly, the person has to be trustworthy. He has to stay and he has to take care of the thing the way you are taking care of it. Right? Who is there? Permanent, always, and having more, high level of visibility. For example, if you have a big property, you hire a person to take care of it. Security. The person you can give something, some weapon or some stick or anything to handle. He's alone walking around your property during the night. What happens if so many people are coming together or with big weapon? What is this person going to do? You hire the more people or more bodyguards and more security. How long you can continue like this? The most powerful, God him alone, right? So we are not looking at some only things around. Beyond that, the divinity, the power, or that energy. That is what called the faith. That is what called one of the Shastras, the Vastu Shastra. There are 6 parts are called as the Shadangas of Vedas, the Vedic scriptures. Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Chandaha, Niruttam, Jyotisham Tatha, Kalpasteti Shadangani, Vedasyahu, Manishina. One of the 6 part of Vedas called the Kalpa or Shulba Sutra, where we are getting some information about the Vastu we call. Now let us understand something, the basic about the Vastu, then come to the brief meaning of the sloka and we continue to the next session. Vastu, what is the meaning? Is there something new or is there any specific Devata or God? And what is the word? It's very simple. You know the meaning already. Who doesn't know the meaning of the Vastu? The thing, Vastu. Vastu itself is Vastu. Vasati iti Vastu. Why we call as the Vastu? It is there. Something, the being. Living being or non-living being. Especially the non-living being, like some kind of Jada Vastu. Living being, we can connect towards the divinity, living being or non-living. For example, we are worried about something, the Jada. Not only the house, the room, apartment, property, land, the car, the phone, the mobile phone, or any kind of equipment we use. For example, when we start building a house, we start with something's puja, the Bhumi Puja, Shilanyasa, Shankustapana, or in Kannada we call as the Guddali Puja. All the equipments we are using to build a house, we start with something. Why? We don't want any kind of obstacles over there. We don't want any kind of the negative. For example, when you building house, the lot of work plan is involved, activities. If someone get hurt, you don't feel comfortable, right? Yes. For that purpose, we, from the beginning itself, we pray, we surrender to that divinity, the supreme being who is the creator and the real owner of everything, non-living beings. If you buy a cow, nowadays it's a story. Anyway, history. Still, you have some connection with India, or what kind of, forget the cow. Think about the dog, cat, people are having nowadays. It has to be comfortable to you. It has to be like, I want to have an animal, I want to feed something. It's not practical to buy an elephant and bring it to your home and feed every day. So that you think about how the big the facility and how much I can afford and what are the facility I am having. According to that, I plan. When you buy a car, you think about your need, your convenience, your flexibility, your availability, the space, and the real requirement. According to that, you decide the size of a car. The phone also like that. It has to be convenient, easy to handle, easy to use. And it has to be very, very helpful and useful, especially. The convenience itself is called as Vastu. Convenience. I can call as the convenience. Comfortability. That's it. It has to be very comfort to use. When you build a house, in simple, it has to be very pleasant. You feel it. Where there is enough light and enough wind coming in, you feel comfortable. That is called Vastu. There are so many things to learn, one by one. Let us go through it and find something. One statement I can make very clear. It is not something like you have to demolish something existing and you have to build something. It has to be in that direction only, otherwise it's going to be very wrong and bringing negativity. Not at all. You don't have to do such things. These are all not blind beliefs. Nowadays, people are misusing your fear and making you to get scared and making their business, whatever. So let us learn some from our scriptures. Let us be very practical and very straightforward. And one statement I can make very clearly, it's very simple, easy, and nothing to worry at all. This is very easy and simple understanding, that's all. So do you consult anybody to buy the Vastu of a mobile phone or a computer? Whatever available on the market, whatever you feel comfortable and easy for the purpose of using it, you go for it, right? That's all. Anyway, now come to this point and let us understand the meaning of this sloka. First, Vastushpati. He is God Almighty himself. We are praying him. He called as the Vastushpati. What are the things we are using in our day-to-day life? All the things. So we feel comfortable, including your clothing, the size of your clothes. It has to be comfortable, right? All the beginning, the brush, the paste, the soap you are using, or shampoo, or anything. It has to be the proper size of it. It has to be easy to use. That is what we have to pray for. All the things I want to use, I have to enjoy in this world. It has to be very easy and simple and comfortable for me. So that we are praying Vastushpati, the Lord of all the Vastus in this world. We are using, we are enjoying, is called as Vastushpati. Namaste-stu, I surrender to you. Bhushaya Prabhu. We are all having opportunity in this earth. Kshamaya Dharitri Bhumi Bhudevi, she is so having faith. Today is so-called Mother's Day. Right? The Mother Earth. That is having is forgive everybody for all mistakes or errors, the pollution we are committing in this world, so that she is the ultimate level of the compassion, Bhumata, Bhudevi, right? Let's dedicate today's our gratitude for her, the Bhumata. Anyway, now coming to the point, and Bhushaya Niratat Prabho, all the things are there around in this world. When we come to this earth, everything is there already, right? We have to have it. We have to get it to find our proper life. We don't know. We call as the Runam, where we have the Runam to live or find a job and have peaceful life. So all the things, Bhushaya Nirata Prabhu, everywhere omnipresent and omnipotent is God Almighty. He is there. I got this opportunity to live this piece of land, this property, house. Sthalespin, in this position, this area or this house I am living. Kuru Sanidhyam. Not only the thing, you may build a big mansion. Divinity, where are you going to get it from? Please bless me with your presence, Sanidhyam. Not only the thing, not only something, the equipment or like the air conditioner or refrigerator, we need electricity into that to make that work. Sthalesmin Kuru Sanidhyam, presence. Please bless me with your presence. Swastino Astu Stiro Bhava. Your presence has to be there. Because of that, only I can feel comfortable, life, peaceful, everything coming together. I have all friends, I have family. They are all good. Not only have high house, wife, kids, friends, they have to be cooperative, helping me and understanding each other. That is what the need of mine. Everything has to be swasti. Sometimes they are okay, sometimes not working. We don't know such things around. Always, when your presence is there, everything has to work properly. Everything, the cooperation from everywhere, I need to have forever. Stiro Bhava, your presence be there permanently. So, that is what the prayer from this sloka. Now, let us continue some more important things about the same next session. Now, let us do the dhyana of Krishna while listening Krishna's Nama Mantra for 5 minutes. Let us close our eyes and listen to the Nama Mantra, and let us meditate the image of Krishna in our mind.
Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. 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 Krishnaya Namaha. Om Shri 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 Krishnaya Namaha.
Namaste. Please take it.
Om Shri Guru Raghavendraya Namaha. So today we'll continue the journey from where we were in the last session about how to continue to develop your spiritual intellect or your spiritual resilience. And as we saw in some of the previous sessions, usually in an empirical mode, in a daily mode, you achieve higher levels. When it comes to spirituality, if there is something called success, if you were to, just to make it simple, if you were to think there is something called success, then that success actually depends upon how deep are you going. So it goes to the depth, not to the next level. So the deeper you go, the deeper you keep taking out the covers, the more you could say, if there is again anything called success, then you could say you are being spiritually, you're going on that path of spiritual success. And to do that, we saw that there are many things that you have to unlearn of what you already know. Because we have been conditioned over a long period of time, not just this lifetime, but previous lifetimes as well. We have been conditioned to adapt and to learn certain things, which probably may work in a regular day-to-day, but that could still be temporary. You may think it's working, but it is temporary. But from a spiritual sense, you have to start unlearning them. You have to start unlearning them. And you yourself know so many examples where as a child, you're growing up, you're asked not to talk to strangers, but as you grow up, you're now asked to talk to people, as a simple example. So their production. You have been taught something to be as a kid, but then when you grow up, you're asked to unlearn whatever you were taught and learn something new. So even in a day-to-day life, you have to unlearn and learn. Same way in the case of spirituality, you have to unlearn and learn. And that unlearning itself is a big effort, and then learning is another effort itself. That's where the abhyasa comes in. So the part two, the second part of this unlearning and learning, is the power of words. And the words that you use, believe it or not, helps you with this unlearning and learning. The words you use, and we again are conditioned to use words in a very, very loose manner without understanding the implications of what we are saying. But subconsciously, what we are saying or what we are thinking, when you're thinking, of course, you're thinking in a certain language as well. You're not just thinking blank. There is a language in which you're thinking. That could be in your colloquial language, in your regional language. It could be your mother tongue. It could be in English. It could be some language that you may be thinking. And while thinking as well, you're using certain words. So these words have an impact on how you are projecting outside and how you're behaving outside. But more importantly, what are you learning and what are you unlearning? And surprisingly, we don't pay too much effort or attention to how we use words. We use it in a very loose manner, very generic manner. And we think we know the meaning of it. And that's why and those carry on with us and they shape our actions as well. So this power of words becomes critical as you go to the depths of spirituality. If you have noticed, when we start this session and when our volunteers teach the Sanskritam sloka, you have seen them emphasize and stress on each word, each phrase, because a little bit here and there, the meaning itself becomes different. So there is an emphasis on that proper pronunciation, proper teaching of those words, and how they resonate within you kind of take you forward. Go back in your own experience and look at some of the words you use that limit you in your pursuit of spirituality. Sometimes you use these words saying, well, desire is bad. You use the word, money is the cause of all problems. And but then you really are now being in a very hypocritical state, if I could use a strong word there, hypocrisy. You are really in a hypocritical state when you say desire is bad, because right from the moment you wake up in the morning, there is a desire for you to wake up. There's a desire for you to get out of bed. There's a desire for you to see your child succeed. There's a desire for you to take care of the family. There's a desire for you to do your best at work or in your studies. So there is a paradox, there is a conflict, there's a contradiction on what you are thinking in terms of words versus what you are acting upon. So unless and until you understand the definition of what desire means and where that the boundaries of desire are good versus bad, you yourself now are walking on a land of contradiction. Same way when somebody says money is the cause of all unhappiness, there again there is a contradiction. You yourself are going on to a pursuit every single morning to feed your family, and for that you need to pay your bills, you need to earn some money to do all of that. Then you want to make sure you're comfortable so that you're not a burden on your children. And there again, you're now saving for retirement, you're looking at all the things that have to do with money. But there's a contradiction because now somebody has told you money is the cause of all problems, or money is the cause of all unhappiness. So these words subconsciously pull you back, pull you back. And the same thing happens in your own family. You'd be sitting there to meditate for 15 minutes and somebody would say, there are other things to be taken care in the house. Why are you not doing that? Why do you just go there and sit for 15 minutes when you're not helping me to do this? So there again, those words keep ringing in your mind and you're being pulled back into a spiritual pursuit. So these words that constantly keep coming up and keep coming up now start blocking you from that spiritual progress. And of course, it's very easy for somebody to say these words because of course it is said through the tongue. And tongue, as you know, somebody was telling me scientifically, the tongue has no bones, but yet it is the strongest part of our body. And it's very easy for somebody to say these words, not necessarily recognizing the impact it would have on it. Or some other aspect. Somebody in your own circle may have succumbed to a certain problem. And there, very carelessly, we end up saying it's his misfortune, without realizing what does that misfortune actually mean, or even reflecting upon it. So this is where the power of words become distinctly critical and important. How you say, because what you say is what you're storing in your memory, and that's how, by the way, you're starting to think. That's how you're starting to think. And the moment somebody is succeeding, you would be starting to find what is the flaw in that person because you have been subconsciously taught to not believe in it. There's a difference between thinking about the belief versus intellectually discriminating it. It's perfectly fine for you to intellectually question and discriminate anything, but you do that without being judgmental. Without being judgmental, intellectually questioning is perfectly fine. But when you are taught to doubt by being judgmental, that is where the problem of words come. And these words are so powerful, which is why, by the way, you would have noticed in your own experience, when you express certain words in your own regional language or in your own colloquial language or in your own mother tongue, they carry an emotional feel versus me explaining it in plain English as an example. And those words that are said to you when you were a child in your own mother tongue, in your own regional language, have an emotion associated with it. And those get stuck within you very deep. And if the person expressing those words to you did not have your interest, then they create such a deep scar within you that it takes longer for you to unlearn that versus somebody just saying it in plain English. Unfortunately, it is a fact that when I say the word feeling in English, it carries less feelings with it versus if I were to say the same word feeling in a local regional language, because there's a lot of emotion associated with that. So depending on who has been guiding you in your life, if that person was not careful about what they are saying, they're not realizing how much of a deep scar they are causing within you. Precisely why the words we use with our kids carry such a meaning, because every time we are saying something to them, we are creating a deep scar within them, both in their favor, also something that is working against their favor. I'll close with a small story. There was a Gurukul with multiple disciples, and there were these two disciples who on one particular day wanted to just have some fun. And they both jumped into the well, sorry. They both jumped into the well. It was a deep well, they both jumped. And only after jumping did they realize what a mistake they did and how difficult it was. And there around the top of the well, all the other disciples started to gather. And they started screaming and yelling. They started screaming and yelling, saying, "You have jumped in such a deep well. What kind of a mistake have you made? The chances of your survival are very slim." They started just yelling, started talking about these, using these words in a very depressing manner. One of those disciples, while both these disciples were trying to come out of the well, one of those disciples literally succumbed to all these words being said. And it hit him because for a long time, this disciple was accustomed to hearing those kind of words, that you will not be able to do it. And in that process, that disciple drowned. The other disciple, hearing all these words, not hearing, but seeing that all these other disciples were yelling and screaming, took that to be a mode of encouragement and started swimming out and started coming out of the well. What was the difference between the two disciples? All the disciples were yelling and screaming at the same two individuals. One fell for it and drowned. The other did not. It so happens, and when the disciples went and asked the Swamiji, and they said, "Swamiji, we were yelling at the same thing, whereas one of our friends died, the other one came out. The difference is the one who came out was deaf. He could not hear." So he thought when all these other disciples were yelling and screaming, they were actually encouraging him to come out of the well. And with that energy and with that power of encouragement, he actually came out. Whereas the other disciple who had perfect hearing clearly understood what they were saying, and he drowned. So sometimes they say ignorance is bliss in such aspects. You are better off not listening to somebody pulling you down in your spiritual pursuit, brushing that away and continuing on that pursuit. When somebody tomorrow tells you, "Why are you wasting those 10 minutes sitting in that puja?" or "You have other things to do, why are you not doing it?" Learn if you can just brush it away. Of course, be sensitive to what happens, but learn in your own way if you can brush it away. Because remember, at the end of the day, spirituality is a binding, is a pact, as they say. It's a contract. It's only between you and the Supreme Krishna. Nobody else comes in the way. Krishna Arpanamastu. We'll open it up for questions, both chat as well as I think you can also ask them through audio.
Hariam Shri Krishna. Yeah, the bridge is open for the questions. Hariam Shri Krishna. Also through the chat, the posts can be made. Hariam Shri Krishna.
While we're waiting for questions, by the way, I'm so glad Yogendraji said this, back to the power of words, when he was saying the amount of time people are spending and devoting towards demolishing houses, demolishing rooms, and everything to correct something is, again, just to think that you demolish a room or you change the direction and things will become better, is again because of this power of words. Somebody has put that fear concept in your mind, and that fear has created such a scar in your heart that now you feel, unless and until physically you're doing something different out there, things will not improve. So again, just how much these things have an impact, and we constantly keep on absorbing these things within us without understanding the implications of it.
Namaskara, Mahesh ji and Yogendra ji. And Nagaraj Rao here again.
Namaskara, sir. Krishna, Krishna.
Yeah. New judgment ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. You were talking about judgment, using the words without having to judge. When you say ignore some people commenting on your puja, whatever, are you not judging that comment that it is not suitable for me, so I'm going to ignore it? So judgment is a unavoidable thing that we practice almost every day. And I was just curious about that. Would you care to comment on that, please?
Very, very interesting question, sir. I'm so glad you asked. So you're absolutely right. There is an element of intellectual decision making that happens whenever anybody says something. The question to be asked, though, is when we are making that intellectual decision. Judgment is also a type of intellectual decision, as you know. When we are making that, what is the baseline and the value system we are basing it upon? So in that sense, yes, if you have made a determination and a decision to pursue to have a spiritual pursuit, and as part of the spiritual pursuit, you have decided to do these three things. Now, if somebody is making a comment, that intellectual response you are providing is based on that value system you have developed. So in that sense, yes. The other aspect of this judgment is to think that the other person is wrong. That is the other side of the judgment, which definitely Krishna's grace, I would say, is not recommended. So to think the other person is wrong, or to ascribe or to put some negative connotation to the other person just because they're saying it, that is a judgmental call which does not have a baseline value to it. That 100% has to be avoided, because that other person is making that comment from a different perspective with a set of different parameters that they have in their own mind. And you cannot say they are wrong or right. Their viewpoint has been different on it from their own experiences of it. So in that sense, let's not make a judgment call on it. What we can always say is that applicable to me? Based on the path, based on what I'm deciding to do, is that applicable to me? If it is not applicable to me, let me learn how to brush it off. But at the same time, let me not spend too much time meditating on that other person or criticizing that other. Hope that answers, sir.
Yes, sir, it does quite a bit, and thank you. An earlier lecture you had mentioned about spiritual ego. And this question is also, this topic is also related to that. And some folks in my own family, for example, would be very, very deep into puja and all that. But there is a sense of, at times I feel, a judgment involved on others who are not as equally involved as one is. That is kind of bothersome, because that is a judgment involved that the other person is not as spiritually advanced or as ritualistic pujas. But would you care to comment on that ritualistic involvement versus spiritual experiences?
Yes, so it's two aspects to it. The first is, let's address the spiritual ego aspect. You are absolutely right, and trust me, I go through this every single minute of my day when I'm talking to others, where somebody would be bent upon putting their viewpoint as the right one, bent upon saying that what they're doing is the best. And this continuously happens. Unfortunately, it just tells you again, back to my earlier comment I made, without meditating on those individuals or their comments, it's safe to say, we are humans, so it does prick us. So I'm not saying it won't. We are humans at the end of the day. So there is a moment where that will hurt you, or a moment where you may say, what is he talking about? But then our spiritual learning lies in how quickly do we catch up on that comment? How quickly do we recover from that prick? So initially, it may take you longer when somebody makes you those judgment calls on you. But our spiritual journey is, let's recover through it faster. So let that prick be quick and take it out. And because then you will be in a better position to respond in a more intellectual manner. So I am completely with you, and my over the years I've learned just not to even spend time correcting them on these things unless they themselves are interested and they ask you about it. It's like what Krishna says in the Gita. Even to share something with the other person has to be worthy about it. Even for you to give some charity to the other person, the other person has to be worthy of it. So if they care to ask you, fine, you can engage in a discussion with them. Otherwise, just leave them aside. Is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is the ritualistic segments. Every individual on a daily basis is bestowed with some element of time and effort that the individual can spend towards activities that bring them closer to divinity. Because from a purely rational mindset, completely rational mindset, or let's say an atheistic mindset, you can always say, why do I need any kind of ritual? Why do I need any kind of framework? I don't need anything. From a purely, when everybody is internally pure, when everybody has an antaryamin or an energy called, whatever you want to call it, called supreme, why do I really need any kind of ritualistic aspect or any guideline or framework? But we all know a life without some discipline or framework, maybe very few people would have the willpower or the capability to still stay in the lane, but for others, they will fall in the ditches, unless and until you have some kind of a framework. Now, and that framework is essentially what rituals are. That framework is what rituals are. Now, the question is, how much time and effort can you invest in those rituals? What are some of the basic things you can do? I mean, if somebody says, why do I need to light a lamp? We can have an endless debate rationally on why do you even need to light a lamp. But the other aspect of it is, can I have a basic framework where at least in the morning and evening I'm lighting a lamp? And yes, is lighting a lamp called a ritual? Of course it is a ritual. So truly then the question becomes, what are you capable? What works for you as a ritualistic aspect versus somebody telling you again the same thing as we did in the spiritual ego. And this is, by the way, the other word for this is called ritualistic ego, just to let you know. There's a term called ritualistic ego. Ritualistic ego where somebody is saying, you know what, my mode of doing rituals is the right mode. What you are doing is the wrong mode. That's a ritualistic ego, because ritualistic aspects depends on the role of that individual. The way Yogendraji would do his rituals with the discipline he does is not something all others can do, as an example. But there's a role that Yogendraji has to play, and he plays that role. And he demonstrates that through his actions. We have a role to play. We all have to demonstrate through a set of actions. So there's a ritualistic ego as well. So in that sense, if somebody is saying your rituals are wrong, what you're doing is not enough. That is the other word to be very careful about. Not enough. Don't fall for it. No. you evolve over time in the rituals you're performing. Starting, you may just start off with lighting up a lamp, but you may start evolving in that as you go through. And we all have evolved. We all have evolved. So evolving over time is what's more important versus saying something is right or wrong.
Thank you, sir. That was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Krishna, Krishna.
I think there are no more questions. Time also, I think it is 1 hour we have completed. Yes, my SGs, now time to conclude today's session.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone. Let us offer our this seva to the feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Wish you all the best, and please keep in your prayers. India is suffering a lot because of COVID. You know already. Let us offer our prayer to Lord to protect all our people in India. Krishna Arpan.
Hare Shri Krishna. Thanks, Yogendra Acharya and Esharu and the Gita team for the today's session. Hare Shri Krishna.
Harihi Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha.
Krishna, Krishna.
Harihi Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha.
Hare
Harihi Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha.
We thank all the participants for joining this edition of Jeevana Dharma session. Hare Shri Krishna. Hare Shri Krishna will be closing the Krishna.